Hi there, today I'm talking about these. These are the Mixcder HD601 Bluetooth aptX wireless and wired headphones. These come in at a retail price of about $99. I've seen them so far, they have now been released, and I've seen them for $45.99. I think they were reduced actually from about $69.99, but I have seen these for $45.99, so that's the kind of price we're talking about. These are really good value, low price headphones. So let's have a look at the good and the bad. I wasn't sure how to do this review. I wasn't sure whether to do a kind of like just a chat about the headphones and chat about my experience with the headphones, but I thought I'd do 7 good points and 7 bad points. So let's get started. First of all, the design of the headphones. They are a lovely, clean, minimalist design. They've done a great job here with the design. They don't look like £45 headphones, to be truthful. They look like 100, 200 pound headphones. Nice, simple design. Just got the logo on the side there. Just this clean kind of red bit they've put around the outside. Maybe missed a trick here. They could have made that kind of light up a little bit, I think, but yeah, no, it doesn't matter. That would just be a bit of a gimmick, really. Other than that, lovely, nice design. Can't fault that in any way. Secondly, battery life. The battery life is pretty good. It's not best in class, but it is pretty good. There's 350 milliamp hour battery. There's a 350 milliamp hour battery in here, and that they state it lasts 15 hours, and I've had pretty much that kind of use out of it, so I wouldn't have any reason to question that you can get 15 hours of battery life out of that. So as I say, not best in class. There are some headphones out there that will do kind of 40 hours, 60 hours, but compared to the kind of things that people are tolerating with things like AirPods and stuff, which only last for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, 15 hours seems an absolute eternity. Functionality versus price. Well, yes, as I say, I've seen these for $45.99. They are a little bit more than that, but what you get with these is incredible for the money. So, you know, you're getting a closed pair of headphones. They are not noise cancelling, but they're classed as passive noise cancelling. Well, what that means is these block out the sound, basically. And they do. You know, they do block out a relatively large amount of sound when you're wearing them. And yeah, so they're not noise cancelling, but they have a Bluetooth wireless. They support the aptX codec. They support the aptX low latency codec. They support standard Bluetooth as well. They're NFC, so they're really easy to pair on an NFC device. And they support calls as well, so you can do your telephone calls on these. They have a mic on them, so you can do your calls. And they also have a standard audio in, so that if you do want to use them wired, if the battery runs out, or you just want to use them wired just for the benefit of the lovely sound quality that would give you, you can do that too. They're easy to use and they're reliable. I mean, there's not much to them really. You know, you can plug your audio in. You've got your power on off button, volume up down button, and a bit of other functionality around that. But other than that, they're a pair of headphones. You know, they connect reliably. They stay connected. They reconnect. There's no problem with using them at all that I experience. You know, no kind of quirks. There's one little quirk actually. I say no quirks. There is one little quirk when it comes to the connecting the wire in, but I'll come back to that in a second when I'm going through the bad points. But overall, I would say they're good, simple headphones to use, and they are reliable. Okay, so sound quality wise. Now, sound quality is always a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, how can I sit here and say, yes, they're great, or no, they're rubbish? I mean, it's very, very objective. So it's difficult for me to do this. Overall, these give a good, rich, full kind of experience. They're nice, they sound nice. If you choose something fairly simple to listen to, and by simple I mean, you know, electronica music is generally quite simple in its structure, and electronic music sounds great on these headphones. If you do something a little bit more complicated, or maybe something that's a little bit more kind of pre-mastered and a bit sort of it's just more sort of complex music. They don't sound as good, but overall they do sound solid. You would, you know, if you'd be surprised actually, because I was testing these, and I tested these against these Audio Technicas that I also have. These are a wired pair of headphones, similar kind of price range, I think. These are the Audio Technica ATH M20s, and whether it's through just a bit of equalization, these sound much more, they sound way more sort of solid, and much richer bass on them. The HD601s sound a lot nicer. Put side by side on most of the music I listen to, these sound way better than these do. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that on certain tracks, they come close to the Sennheiser Momentum 2s. They are not up to the same standard overall as the Sennheisers, but on certain tracks they were coming close to it. And I was listening to one, switching. I was basically, these are wired. I've got these wired at the moment because I was doing some wired tests, switching between one and the other directly, and I was quite shocked at how pleased I was with the sound from the HD601. Sometimes you think, on certain tracks you're thinking, oh god, this is a bit of a mess. On other tracks, not at all. So it is a bit of a mixed bag. Overall, pretty good sound quality. All right, so the build quality, I keep turning away here. The build quality of these, it feels plasticky, but it's solid. You don't get the impression from holding them and moving them around, chucking them in your bag, that they're going to break anytime soon. In fact, the way that these have been made so sort of lightweight, there's nothing to them really. The way they've been made very lightweight kind of helps with that impression. You know, if you chuck them in your bag, there's no weight to them, so they don't kind of hit anything hard. They don't have any momentum, and so they don't hit anything with any great impact, and you just feel like they're going to last, you know, as long as these bits last. So this sort of what they call protein leather. Who knew that was a thing? Protein leather. Anyway, so it's not real leather. It's a combination of materials that's made to kind of feel and look like leather. It's protein leather, and it's comfortable. And if this stays intact, because I have seen this kind of stuff split before, if it does stay intact, then great. You know, these are solid. And I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I get build quality wise. If that does stay intact, then I get the sense that these are otherwise going to take a good knocking around. Sorry, I'm looking over. I've made some notes on my laptop. I usually do it with a bit of paper or something like that. And I thought, no, I'll do it on my laptop, and it's a bit awkward actually. A bit awkward looking over, and I can't scroll down now. So right, so. Price overall, if you can pick these up for £45-55, which, you know, in the region of kind of maybe $70, that is, in my opinion, a very good price for what you're getting with these. This is, remember, a wireless pair of over the ear Bluetooth headphones that, well, what do people think of when they think of over-the-ear headphones? They often think of Beats headphones. Do these compare sound quality-wise to Beats headphones? Absolutely. I haven't listened to that many. I've only listened to 2 pairs of Beats headphones in my time. And I kind of think Beats headphones are overpriced. You're paying for the name, in my opinion. There might be people out there going, oh my God, they're the best and stuff. Fine, whatever. You know, that might be your opinion. These are much more reasonably priced compared to a pair of Beats, and they definitely sound as good, in my view, from the headphones that I've listened to. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. You know, do you want to spend however much on a pair of Beats, or are you happy to spend far less on a pair of Mixcder and get a pretty good value for money? Okay, so there we go. They're the good points. That's 7 good points. I'm going to move on to the bad points now, if I can scroll down here successfully. Right. Call quality. First bad point is call quality. When you're on the phone to somebody else, it's not the call quality of the call coming in. You can hear people fine when you're on the phone, but the call quality of you, so what the mic picks up on these compared to other devices, it doesn't sound great at all. It sounds pretty boxy, and if there's any noise in the background, you know, you really don't stand a chance. If you're in a room like I am here and I can speak, you know, like I'm now, I can speak clearly, I can speak as loud as I want, these are great. You'll have no problems with them. But in the office where I can't sit there on a conference call and I can't sit there going like, oh yes, that's right, absolutely, to make myself heard, I've had people say, sorry, I just can't hear you, and I've had to take these off and switch back to my just standard mobile phone. So the call quality, it works, but it isn't fantastic quality to the other person, which I think people often forget about. They think, oh, I can hear you fine, and they forget that they might not sound that good to anybody else. But that happens on other devices too. You know, the only way you can really get around that and have good call quality on the phone is by having like on a headset, a little mic right next to your mouth. It's the only way you're going to do it. When these sit on your head, the mic is here or whatever. It's not, you know, it's not close enough. It's going to pick up all the other ambient sound as well. So I recorded 3 voicemails. I phoned. How did I do this? I phoned my partner on her. I don't know what. No, that's right. I phoned myself a couple of times and recorded 3 voicemails. Firstly, just using the phone, handheld like this. Secondly, using my Sennheiser Momentums on their sort of built-in mics. And thirdly, using the HD601s on their built-in mics. So let's have a listen to how they sound.
This is on the HD601 headphones, and I'm in the kitchen at the moment, so I've got a bit of background music. Not really very loud, but it is quite a sort of reverby room. So I'll see if you can make out, because I don't think I'd really speak any louder than this if I was on the phone. So if you can't understand this and you can't make this out, then they're really not any use for calls.
So this is the same place and same volume, but this is speaking directly into the P9 phone, so not using a headset at all. And yeah, background music is pretty much the same, and let's see how that sounds.
So this is the third test. This is on the Momentum 2. So this will be the headphones I normally use. Same place, kitchen, background music, same volume, nothing louder. So let's see how this one sounds.
These folding ears, so they kind of fold like this. It doesn't do anything for me. What's it really? How am I benefiting from it? They're fairly high profile, so look how thick they are there versus how thick they are there. There's nothing in it. All it does is make me think that I'm broke. I don't know. It doesn't. It's fine to have. So I wouldn't, you can't really call it a fault or a particularly bad point, but it does nothing for me. I don't see the point of it. Anyway, some people may love that. I can put them down just as easily like this. I can hang them on my hand, but as soon as they flop open like this, I find them more difficult to hold them. But that's just my usage. You may kind of think something different on that, but yeah, that doesn't add any value for me. All right, so when you press a button or you turn them on or you turn the volumes max or you check battery or whatever, you get it spoken to you in your ear, which is a nice touch. You would expect that. How else is it going to tell you? A series of beeps or something? But no, it says in an American voice, volume max or whatever. The quality of that is awful. It sounds like something from a Christmas card or a birthday card. These little sampled birthday cards from the 1990s or something. The quality is really quite bad. They could have improved the sample rate on that. I don't know, maybe just invested in a slightly larger chip to put the samples on or something. I don't know, the bigger memory to do that. Surely that's not a thing these days. It would be simple to do. It sounds really bad. You can understand it and it works fine, but it just sounds really poor. It sounds like the worst quality phone call you could imagine when she says, "Power on." But that's just, a fairly minor thing. one of those things that you just kind of notice, and it makes them come across as kind of cheaper headphones. All right, so I mentioned before, when you plug in the cable into these, if you have these powered on and you have them on Bluetooth, when you plug in the cable like this, they start doing some really weird stuff. It's like as if they're doubling up the music. So you've got the Bluetooth stuff coming in loud, and then you've got the wired stuff that's much quieter, and the wired stuff stays much quieter until you turn them off. So basically, there's kind of like this stage in between when they're still powered on that just the wire doesn't work properly. You have to just turn them off, and then the wired will switch to its actual volume, which is relatively loud actually. They're driven pretty well just by an iPhone or similar device. They're perfectly loud enough at kind of 3/4 volume or something, and you have to turn it off and everything's fine. But there's this weird sort of interim period where when you plug it in and it's powered on Bluetooth, it starts doing some weird stuff that you wouldn't predict it would do. So that's a bit unusual, but that's possibly something that could be resolved in software, I guess. Right, what else have we got here under the bad section? Yeah, so as I mentioned before, the sound quality itself is good, but it is limited. If you do play the complicated music, the kind of more detailed stuff, you'll really start to see the limitations of these headphones. The 40mm drivers sound, the bass on them is really solid, and there is quite a lot of it. If you like that kind of thing, you know, if you like a fairly sort of bass heavy headphone, there is quite a lot of it on here. One thing I did notice is that all the music seems to be slightly colored with this sound. So this kind of frequency. So you tap that and you've got a, what's that? I don't know, 1K or something like that. And all the music is slightly colored around that frequency. It's like as if the housing of the headphone is making everything sound just a bit hollow. And that's a shame, because if it was EQ'd slightly differently, maybe you could get rid of it with EQ, or if it didn't have that kind of coloring in the sound, they really would be much, much better. And I don't know whether that just comes down to build quality and the fact that this is empty, which makes me think, you know, if this is empty, why couldn't you put a bigger battery in? To make them a bit heavier, put a bigger battery in, it's fine. People aren't too bothered about a bit of weight, I wouldn't have thought, when they're carrying something around like this. But yeah, so sound quality wise, it's all right, but not amazing when it comes to the more complex stuff, as I already mentioned in the good section. So yeah, this sound, again, mentioning this sound, there's no acoustic decoupling between this and the actual kind of where your ear is. So when you touch and scratch the headphones, you can hear all of that through. They sound dreadfully plasticky when you touch them. When they're on. I mean, most headphones do carry that sound through to your ear. These do it a lot. So yeah, you kind of have them on and you do that and it sounds so loud in your ear. It's crazy. And the final point is the bass boost. There's no need for it. There's a feature where you can double tap the power button. Firstly, there's no indication that it's turned on. The lady does not tell you in that case that the bass boost is on. It just suddenly goes incredibly heavy on the bass, and in my opinion, the stuff that I've checked and listened to, there is no need for it at all. It is perfectly heavy enough on the bass with these headphones. You do not need that boost. It's a fine feature, but if you're going to leave it in there as a feature, announce the fact that it's turned on and announce the fact that it's turned off, because sometimes you're just left thinking, is it on or off? And you have to cycle it like 3 times to know whether or not it's actually on or off. So otherwise, you know, in summary, absolutely great for the money. I really, you know, it wouldn't be something I don't think I would buy these myself. It's not for kind of an audio. I don't class myself as an audiophile, by the way, but I do sort of appreciate kind of the kind of headphones you get from a company such as sort of Sennheiser or something like that. But these definitely have a place, because for the price, you're not so worried about them. You know, I am worried about chucking my £300-400 pair of headphones in my bag. I'm worried about if they get nicked. For £50 and the quality you get out of these, I would not be worried about that. So as far as taking them out, if you're doing, you know, maybe you could use them if you're doing some sports, because they're quite lightweight. You probably sweat a bit actually around your ears, but you know, I think overall you could do a lot worse than the HD601s. I have to point out at this point that I was sent these free of charge by Mixcder, so they have been provided to me free of charge. The review is not biased in any way. I've not been told what to say in this review. I say exactly what I want. So this is what I think about these headphones. Let me know if you've bought them, and if you would like to buy them and you'd like to support the channel, then please do use the Amazon links below in the description, because I'll get a small commission from that. You won't pay any more yourself, but I would get a small commission from that. So please do use those links. And thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.